Well, that's the thing I was interested about here, Scarlett, because I was looking at the timeline, and I'm like, they made that decision to buy these vehicles before share was actually put into place.
Yeah, and it's not a one-man decision either, right? I mean, this is something that the company got on board with. So, David, what's interesting here is that Stephen Scher is leaving or is being pushed out because of this, and he's being replaced by Gil West, who's a former CEO of GM's Cruise robotaxi unit. Does that mean that Hertz is backing away from EVs, but maybe transitioning more towards focusing on self-driving cars? How do we read into that?
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, the government EV mandate has claimed yet another scalp, and I personally regard the EV mandate as disastrous from the very beginning. Now, here we have another casualty of when someone falls on their own sword. It's bad enough that our modern day politicians do not take responsibility, but when corporate executives who we think should know better follow them down the abyss, then it begs to wonder why we should follow these leaders. Hertz is one perfect example of the many who have tried, tested, and failed with the pushing of EVs down our throat. And in this video feature, I will go through 3 reasons why Hertz failed and that their CEO had to go. Thanks to Bloomberg TV for this video feature. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you will be notified when I drop a new content. Now, let's begin.
The CEO of Hertz is stepping down. Bloomberg is reporting right now that Hertz plans to replace CEO Stephen Scher. This is after that big bet on electric vehicles turned into, well, not quite as they had planned. Now, former Cruise COO Gil West will be stepping into his place here. Hertz shares are getting a modest bid here in after hours, trading up about 1%. Once again, the headline, Stephen Scher, the CEO over there at Hertz, the chairman as well, stepping down as CEO, and we're told that Gil West will fill that CEO role. Detroit Bureau Chief David Welch joining us right now for a little bit more on this. And can we trace a line from this decision back to that decision a couple of years ago to make that big bet and that big purchase of electric vehicles?
Yeah, so clearly it is. This is a business that has recovered since the pandemic. And at other companies, specifically Avis, their chief rival, Enterprise is private, so we don't get to see their financials. But Avis has made pretty good money. Hertz lost money, and twice as much as the street thought in the fourth quarter. And a lot of that is because of this $245 million charge because of all these EVs that they bought. Mostly Teslas. The cars depreciated faster. They weren't rented out as much. They didn't get as much for them at the rental counter, and there were higher repair costs. And they really went along with it.
The resignation of Hertz CEO Stephen Scher offers yet another valuable lesson for businesses in the automotive industry. Firstly, it underscores the importance of thorough market research and feasibility studies before making major strategic decisions. And Hertz's failure to acquire a small sample of EVs to test in their fleet highlights the need for companies to accurately assess the potential impact of new technologies on their profitability and operational efficiency. They jumped headfirst into this venture, wasting billions of dollars. The second point I want to put is that it emphasizes the significance of realistic financial projections and risk management. Despite the growing popularity of electric vehicles, Hertz faced challenges such as expensive repairs and low resale value, which adversely affected the company's bottom line. This emphasizes the need for businesses to carefully evaluate the long-term financial implications of their decisions and implement effective risk mitigation strategies. Now, in my dealership experience, I would liken this to defensive strategic mechanisms, namely having a contingency plan. But Hertz banked heavily on EVs. Those bets went awry last year when Tesla slashed prices across its lineup to keep growing vehicle sales. And this hammered the resale value of used Model 3 sedans and Model Y crossovers just after Hertz had added over tens of thousands of EVs to their fleets.
How dare you?
Odd thing about this is the people at Knighthead and Centaurus, they're the two private equity companies that bought Hertz and took it through bankruptcy.
Yeah.
This was kind of their strategy, and they brought Stephen Shearer in to execute it. So there must have been disputes over how it was executed, because this wasn't only his baby, but he's essentially leaving as this is being unwound.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I was interested about here, Scarlett, because I was looking at the timeline, and I'm like, they made that decision to buy these vehicles before Shearer was actually put into place.
Yeah, and it's not a one-man decision either, right? I mean, this is something that the company got on board with. So, David, what's interesting here is that Stephen Shearer is leaving or is being pushed out because of this, and he's being replaced by Gil West, who's a former CEO of GM's Cruise robotaxi unit. Does that mean that Hertz is backing away from EVs, but maybe transitioning more towards focusing on self-driving cars? How do we read into that?
No, I think it's more, you look deeper into Gil West's background. He was the COO for Delta Airlines. So I think they're looking for somebody with consumer experience in flights, scheduling, travel, that sort of thing. Hertz has done this before when Carl Icahn was the controlling shareholder. They hired John Tagway from United Airlines. It didn't work out that well. John was only there a couple of years, and Hertz never really got out of trouble under Icahn's leadership, no matter who he put in the chair. But they're looking for someone with that travel expertise who can do scheduling, fleet management, and that sort of thing, like you do with planes. I think the challenge for somebody like Gil West, the same thing with Stephen Shearer and with Autopass CEOs, is where you make or break companies in the rental business is, do you buy the right vehicles and you buy the right amount of them at the right time? And that's where the Hertz has gotten in trouble, is mistiming the market with the vehicles they buy and getting burned in the used market later.
The last point I want to make is that it serves as a reminder of the importance of adaptability and agility in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. So while investing in EVs may have seemed like a progressive move for Hertz, the company's inability to effectively integrate them into their operations highlights the dangers of rigid adherence to ideology over practical considerations. Businesses must be willing to adapt their strategies and embrace change to remain competitive and sustainable in the long run. I can bet and truly bet that someone tried to tell this board and the CEO that this was a bad decision, but they never listened. It's another reason why I left the dealership environment. Today's dealer principals and general managers think they know it all, especially some members of the board, hard-headed. And instead of looking at best practices or do sample studies, they dive headfirst and then sacrifice thousands of workers through layoffs just to save themselves. The quote unquote resignation of Hertz CEO serves as a cautionary tale for businesses, highlighting the importance of thorough research, realistic financial planning, and adaptability in decision making. And it underscores the need for companies to balance innovation with practicality and avoid falling victim to wishful thinking and the false ideology of today's new age politicians. Sadly, critical thinking is now elusive at the top. When will we return to facts over feelings? What else can you offer? As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.